In this segment, we're going to be looking at metric conversions with our base 10 blocks again, but this time we're going to be talking about converting little units into bigger units. And this is more difficult for some students because of the fact that we don't have even one big unit. So we'll continue on with what we've done by putting up our chart and going from there. So we've reset our chart up as we've had in the past, and it's exactly the same, and we're going to do it the same way, except it's a little different. Our question that we're going to ask this time is, what would happen if we had 27 centimeters? How many meters would that be? So because there's two digits, we can't put two digits in any one column. We're only allowed to have one digit or one numeral per space. We're going to have to rename that a little bit, and because it's 27, I have at least enough to make two of these with 7 left over. So now I can write it, I have 2 decimeters and 7 centimeters if I want to say that. Or I could say I still have 27 with the decimal place being in the centimeter, tells me which unit I'm talking about. So if I have a 2 and a 7 with a decimal right after the 7, I'm talking about 27 centimeters. Now I want to know how many meters I have to have. So from here, I have to place my 0 or my decimal point in the unit that I want to change it to. Since I want to change it into grams, I don't even have a whole gram, and so therefore I've got decimal. So now the question is, how many do I have? I don't have any in the base, I have 2 in the decis, I have 7 in the centis, so therefore I could say that I have 0.27 meters. Now, there's many ways of saying this. 0.27 meters should probably be saying 27 hundredths of a meter. And does that make sense? Yes, it does, because there are 100 of these in a cube, and therefore I have 27 of those centis, and therefore I would have 27 hundredths. I could also say I have 2 tenths or 2 decis and 7 centis. And that would work as well, 2 tenths and 7 hundredths. But normally we would say that's 27 hundredths is the proper way of saying our decimal. But it can be converted into 0.27 meters. In this question, we're going to start off with 27 meters. So my decimal place is in the units that I'm talking about, in the meters, which is this little cube here. And we're going to ask how many kilometers we have. So I don't have First thing I want to do is I want to rename this, because I can't have 2 digits in any one column. So I'm going to rename that again. So I've renamed my 27 meters into 2 decas, or decameters, and 7 meters, because I have 27 of these little blocks. That's enough to trade in for 2 rods and 7 left over, so I have 27 meters. I want to know how many big cubes can I have, though. Do I have enough to make even one big cube? And the answer would be no. So I would put 0 there, and I would go to fill up the rest. I don't have any of those. I have 2 of these, and I have 7 of these. So if I wanted to go ahead and rewrite this as to how many kilometers I have, I now have to say that I have 0.027 kilometers, or 0.027 kilometers. And that makes sense, because I have a few small things, but I don't have anywhere enough to make even one whole thing. So my decimal should be less than 1 whole. And how much less is it? Well, before we talked about moving it to the right when we were going from big things to little things. Now we're moving it from the left. So if I just take these two numbers and compare them side by side, what I notice is the decimal was after the 7. If I write it like this, it was after the 7, but now I've had to move it to the left. And by moving it to the left, that indicates that I have a very small number, or a very small amount, and which makes sense, because I don't even have a whole kilometer. How many places does it have to move determines on how many changes of shape do I have to have. I had to change it from 1 to here, again from here, and again to here. So I had to move it 3 different shapes. So I have to move my decimal place from here to between the 2 to the 7, to in front of the 2, to in front of another 0. And that's why my decimal place moved 3 places, and it had to be to the left because I was looking for an answer that would be smaller than my original number.